In Super Time Force, you take control of a super team of time-bending heroes who force their way into history by using their superpower of time travel. The story follows Dr. Repitsky, who, after discovering the secret of time travel, inadvertently destroys the whole world before coming back to inform his past self of his mistakes. This over-the-top version of the Doctor now leads a crack team across time to rectify his mistakes by battling the mysterious Dr. Infinity, as well as making the world cooler by altering historic events like the extinction of the dinosaurs, and even going forward in time to download all future plugins and updates for his web browser. It's ridiculous, nonsensical, rife with paradoxes, and freaking hilarious. And at no point does this ludicrous story pretend to be anything other than what it is, an awesome excuse to bounce around all different corners of the space-time continuum. From the medieval Dark Ages right up into a Mad Max-inspired apocalypse. All of these missions are full of retro 80s throwbacks and pop culture references, even including a cast of unlockable characters, each with their own brilliant parody name. I love this tongue-in-cheek approach that even flows into the game's design, going with that ever-popular pixel art style and chiptune music which is perfectly suited to this insane time-travelling adventure. Starting out, you can pick from one of the three main heroes, a Scottish sharpshooter, Amy McKillen, a machine gun-toting action hero, Jean Rambois, and a shield-wielding blocker, Shieldy Blockerson. Every hero has a basic and charged attack. But what's unique is your ability to combine these powers when you go back in time and save yourself from being killed. Oh, wait, I've forgotten to mention that. Okay, hang on one sec. Rife with paradoxes and freaking hilarious. This looks like a good spot. So, what makes the game so unique is the time out ability, which allows you to rewind and add another character to your previous playthrough. Initially, this serves as a substitute for lives, sending you back every time you die, which will happen frequently thanks to old-school one-hit kills from your enemies. Should you then be able to save your previous self from getting killed, you can then absorb them. This then gives you an extra hit point as well as their attack power, making for some great experimentation. For example, save Amy with Shieldy's block, and he can now use her charged up laser attack while still dropping his original bubble shield. Very useful. Later on down the track, you realise you have to use this timeout ability to either multiply your attack power or to clear multiple enemies that would be impossible to defeat on a single run. The creative boss battles in particular stand out as moments of pure chaos as you shoot, rewind, appear, shoot, rewind, appear, until the screen is filled with a crazy amount of bullets and sprites. This looks particularly impressive at the end of each level when you can watch a clean version of the gameplay with the rewinds removed. Overall, it's a unique mechanic that feels fun and clever to use at the same time, but I couldn't shake the feeling it was a little bit overpowered. Knowing I had so many rewinds at my disposal definitely took out some of the challenge and meant that I rarely needed a full reset. Luckily, to counter this, the game employs a clever countdown timer for each stage, urging players to push through areas quickly or to rewind and defeat enemies faster to reach the end goal within the time limit. There's also extra time pickups, hidden slow-mo power-ups, and extra rewinds to help you along the way. And you'll need to keep a constant eye out for these, or else you may find yourself out of time and be forced to rewind all the way to the beginning of the level. It actually turns out that time is your biggest enemy in the game, with escort stages and the aforementioned boss battles requiring you to rewind and squeeze as much damage as possible into mere seconds. And while you can strategically rewind to direct your fire at specific enemies and preempt boss attack patterns, it usually just ends up being easier to go back and add more and more heroes until nothing stands a chance of surviving. And that's really my biggest problem with the game. The chaotic nature of having just so much happening on screen at once can detract from the usual simplistic side-scrolling joys. Don't get me wrong, it's a great twist on the genre. Almost as if someone saw the multiple playthroughs in Super Meat Boy and decided to combine that with an old-school Contra shooter. However, the resulting frenzied playstyle can wear a bit thin by the end. Even more unfortunate was the missed opportunity for any cool time-bending puzzles. I only encountered one, and that was in the final stage of the game, that made me really stop and think, oh, that was really cool, I wish there was more of that. But I guess this game is selling itself as a shooter first, so I'm glad it sticks to what it does best. In the end, just like the questionable time paradoxes it opens up, Super Time Force is probably best enjoyed when you're not thinking about it too hard. It's not overly long, so it's great for short burst sessions before coming back to hunt down collectibles, go for speed runs, or just create as many multiples of yourself as possible. I had a great time with this game, so I'm giving it...
Ghost, we have to get out of here. It's the future. We've got
from the past. Shush! I'm giving it 8.5 rubber chickens.
Here for my first day.
What's going on?